How's it going, guys? I know it's been a while, and I know you're probably wondering why I haven't been posting as much, even though I kind of posted one video at the start of the season. And the main reason is because Outlaw Rogue is probably one of the worst classes in the game right now. Not only just in Raid, but especially, I would say it's probably the worst class in the game for Mythic Plus. In Raid, it's okay, but still pretty horrible. And yeah, so basically in this video, I just kind of wanted to explain why Outlaw Rogue is so bad. And the first part of the video will be my rant as to why we're so bad. And then the second part will be kind of how to still, do okay damage, even though the class just feels pretty horrible right now. Like, I don't really enjoy playing it that much, but I'm still gonna try and push through this season and hope for some buffs soon, and maybe our class will be playable again. But yeah, so the guide will be at the end. So if you don't want to, stick around for the start, where I'm just talking about kind of the reasons as to why our class is bad and showing some examples from logs and that sort of thing, then you can skip to later in the video. So the main reason why Outlaw is bad, well, I guess the reasons is because we don't do any single target damage, we don't do any prio damage, our AoE is still pretty bad. Um, yeah, I mean, there's basically no point in bringing an Outlaw Rogue to any of your keys, it just objectively makes it harder. Um, yeah, I mean, there honestly just is no reason to invite us. Like, the only way our class is even remotely viable is within Fizdam comp. Like, you can't even like do half Fizz. Like, you have to do the full thing of Brewmaster, Warrior, um, Feral, and Shaman in order for it to even be remotely okay. The rework with Killing Spree, they tried to make a change and then they just ended up making it 10 times worse. And yeah, I mean, just pretty much everything they did just made it horrible. So, I mean, you might be wondering, why do we do no single target? Well, we do no single target. I mean, I think our tier set isn't great. Unseen blade damage is fine, and we have a 35% chance for it to strike twice, which I mean is, I guess, cool in theory, but just still doesn't, it's like just totally passive and just doesn't really feel like it's that great. And then they just made the bug from last patch our 4-piece, which is like fine, but with the way that Killing Spree worked now, it just doesn't feel like that big of a reward. So how did they change Killing Spree? They made it a channel, and now the channel takes longer. It does a little bit more damage, but the cooldown is greatly increased. So basically what this means is that in AoE, there's not going to be as many targets phased as consistently. So after your Killing Spree ends and all your targets are phased, I mean, if you don't have a Vanish window where it just lines up unlucky, I mean, you're missing out on quite a lot of damage. I'd also say that the way that Killing Spree works now, I mean, it's just the changes they made are horrible, right? Because it completely ruins our damage profile. Because it's supposed to be about, I would say, 15% of our single target damage. And in big pulls where there's like a prio target, or even some bosses where there's like funnel, it's completely random as to what your Killing Spree is hitting. So on funnel bosses, Outlaw doesn't get any funnel anymore. You're basically just doing less single target, less prio, and the boss is going to take longer if you bring in funnel. And you can't even kick during it. You can't even CC during it. It just cancels the cast. So it's pretty much just a horrible change that they just didn't think about at all in the 15 minutes when they decided to make that change. Yeah, so we have zero prio. Our prio is actually horrible. So for a lot of the dungeons this season that have big prio pulls and big prio, I mean, we're just completely useless. Like we just do nothing. Our boss dam is horrible, and it's just really hard to play Outlaw if you're not in full Fizdam comp. And even in that comp, your your single target is just horrible. Um, it just feels really bad to play right now. I mean, I just think everything about the spec, and last season there were issues. However, it was made up for the fact that we had a tier set that gave us a lot of that gave us a lot of 5 buffs, so we could kind of feel okay because we had a lot of 5 buff uptime, which was, 5 and 6 buffs. It felt pretty okay and was kind of unique. So, I would say last season it's good, but with this season, with one stack of Fan the Hammer, it just feels horrible. I'm going to show you an example of this, but this Sinister Strike having a 35% chance to hit an additional time and making your next pistol shot half cost, like the pistol shot proc chance just feels horrible. I can count on multiple different occasions where I'm Sinister Striking, I mean, 8 or 9 times plus, and still not getting a single pistol shot proc. So, energy consumption feels horrible. Ace up your sleeve just feels useless because you're only ever getting like a 5 combo point finisher off. Even in broadside, you'll get 6. You still won't even get the full 7. So like we're never above 35% chance for minimal damage gains, which just feels horrible. And yeah, basically just everything about the way that our class tree functions just feels really clunky. This is the worst talent in the history of talents. Our pistol shot doesn't do any damage to begin with, and it's a capstone that no one's ever used since maybe season 1 of Dragonflight. On top of that, our gear just feels horrible. There's no weapon this tier that has any type of special effect to help us out in single target or AoE. Our trinkets feel horrible. This is technically our best trinket, the Sigil of the Cosmic Hunt. It's complete trash, does no damage. But it's supposedly our best. It just everything. There's just no gear for us this tier. It feels horrible. And I want to show you an example of just how bad RNG can get on our spec right now for actually no damage gain at all. So I think I might have set the world record here for the most Sinister Strikes. If anyone has gotten this unlucky, please feel free to message me or DM me on Discord, because I would honestly love to see if anyone's gotten more unlucky than me. So yeah, let me show you. This was from a small key. This tier, it wasn't a big key. I was just helping some friends out with an Arakara. I still had about 93% adrenaline rush uptime, which felt okay. But you might be thinking, well, 93% is okay, right? Which is fine. Actually, this was the 90% one, but let me show you the cast. So let me show you the timeline of Sinister Strikes. Happens at about 7 minutes, and this is on a boss fight, right? Where I don't have perma funnel. The first boss you have a little bit of funnel, but when the ads die, you don't have any funnel. So this is me just hitting the boss. Starts right here. So let me get rid of this. So this is where the unlucky streak starts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 Sinister Strikes without a pistol shot proc. 16. That's just. I can't even begin to explain how horrible that is, and how awful that feels. I'm just permanent. Like, what am I supposed to do with that? There's like multiple times where, again, not even a few minutes later, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's about 6. Another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 without a pistol shot. It's just, we just get no damage gains, really. Here's another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 Sinister Strikes. I don't know what to do with the class at this point. There's just a lot of times where I'm just Sinister Striking so many times in a row with no pistol shot proc. And when and it's not like I'm waiting for a huge damage. It's just so that I can actually get to my finishers. Yeah. So right now we are the worst class in Mythic Plus, and one of the worst classes for boss damage in raid because of some other broken stuff that I'm not going to get into right now with Fatebound. So yeah, it's pretty It's pretty bad. But if you're like me and you want to tough it out, then here I will show you just kind of some small things, some minor things with the changes, and hopefully when they decide they want to make some class changes, actually we can maybe do some damage. So our opener is always still the same. At the start of the key, basically, um, there's kind of like some pre-pull killing spree stuff that you can do because of this talent right here in our where is it? It is this one right here. So killing spree, like when you killing spree, your next two strikes of Unseen Blade ignore their cooldown. So always before the start of your key, you want to pre-killing spree because you'll just get back to a coup de grace faster. So before a key starts, I always killing spree, or I always adrenaline rush. You'll pot and then you'll killing spree as they put the key in, or you can do it before, and then it obviously will reset once once the key starts. Then you'll have killing spree again, and your next two strikes of Unseen Blade will ignore their cooldown. So like this, my next Sinister Strike, one Unseen Blade, and two Unseen Blade. So see right there, like my tier set also procced, so I was already immediately at a coup. So you should always do that at the start of a key because the faster you can get to coup de grace, the more you can get your flawless form stacks. And yeah, so you always want to make sure you're doing your pre-key stuff. It'll always stay the same, where you will adrenaline rush as your first global. So let me just get back to adrenaline rush so I can actually show you guys the proper opener. So yeah, like Outlaw really struggles with first pull, so kind of doing that pre-key stuff is extremely important because it allows you to like I said, build to that coup faster and do all that stuff. So here's how my pre-key stuff would start. I don't know why it's so laggy here, but so let's say this is the first pack. You're going over here. I already have a, killing or Blade Flurry active, so I had stealth and adrenaline rush. I'm going up to the pack, and I'm going to open with a ghostly strikes on my prio target. Well, didn't go off, but it usually would have. It's just kind of laggy in this area. Building up. And then after my free vantage window ends, you'll build up, and then you'll killing spree to apply his phase to all the targets. And then you can go into your next two windows. And then on this next window, I will use my two coup procs, build up all these stacks of flawless form, and that's like your biggest damage window right there. And I think of a misconception with coup de grace is you always want to send your first one at full combo points, and then you just send your second one right away. You don't want to build off of it. We're just using it for CDR and to build up our flawless form stacks, which is the most important thing. And you always want a killing spree. If you have killing spree and coup de grace up at the same time, you killing spree first because it's obviously like our biggest prio button that we want to press. Then you coup, then you obviously go into your vanish window. And yeah, so like I said, definitely make sure you're always using your first coup at full combo points, and then your second one is right away. Another big thing that I'm kind of like noticing some people do and they don't really realize it is when you have coup de grace up, see how these other targets don't have phased, they don't have Unseen Blade attached to them. You can't, like, and let's say your prio target dies and you have Unseen Blade, if I were to use my coup de grace on another target, I wouldn't get the stacks of flawless form. So let me see if I can get back and show you. So let me, hopefully my tier set procs here. Okay, so I have coup, so everything has phased attached to it, right? But let's say I switch, this target dies, and I go over here, I press my coup. See how my Unseen Blade, or my flawless form stacks didn't go up? The target has to have phased applied to it in order for you to get the flawless form stacks. I'm pretty sure I don't think it's a bug, I just think it's the way that it works. I'm not sure why it is, but you definitely want to make sure that you're always using your coup on a target that has phased applied to it. Otherwise, you're not going to get the flawless form stacks. So when I was doing some coaching earlier in the season, I saw some rogues who were Coup de Growing just like a random target, and their flawless form stacks weren't going up. So you need to make sure that your Coup is hitting a target that has phased applied to it. And it's still the same stuff that works when you're fishing for combo points, or you're fishing for buffs, and don't keep it rolling too early. Wait until the last second to see if you get another buff. The two kind of main this is our talent tree. I only really use like this stuff, slowing poison for certain bosses or certain dungeons, but doesn't this isn't gonna make or break a key. Realistically, like this is the talent you want to use. The only thing you'll ever change, I think, if you don't have a feral in your group and you don't really want to take a chance on like your rolls as much. I mean, you can use Thief's versatility over sleight of hand. But I mean, technically, the top rogues are going to be running sleight of hand just for the little bit of an increased chance of rolling a 2 buff and rolling a 5 buff. I mean, I don't think it's that great. My luck is horrible, as you guys have seen with my Sinister Strike procs, but you can choose either of these. I think you'll be fine. Personally, I think I'm going to start going with this because my luck is just so bad, but um, this is just kind of personal preference. You guys can play around and see how you feel with this, but everything else will stay the same. And you're never going to play Fatebound in Mythic Plus. It's just going to always be Trickster, even though this is the worst single target spec in the game. So again, let me just show you how an opener would work again at the start of a key. So Blade Flurry, Invis, going up to my pack. This will be my prior target. And just building up to full combo points. Killing Spree. Got pretty decent buffs, so this is where the big damage is going to come out. Use my Coup. My flawless form stacks went up because I'm applying it to my main target. And this is another big damage moment. All these guys are going to be phased, and I have a vanish window. So yeah, again, my prior target,
Catch
my prior target. I have a bunch of flawless form stacks. And that's kind of like your big damage windows. Once you have your flawless form stacks, that's when you're doing your most damage. And then just killing Spring to maintain phased. If you're using this antenna trinket, it's pretty good, but it's sometimes kind of annoying. But try to get your orbs as much as possible. But yeah, so this is kind of like your main rotation. Nothing really changes. Just make sure you're using your Coup windows correctly, and your Coup de Growing twice, and you're doing it on your main target. That's always the most important thing. And I think with compared to last season, sometimes you were using like a 1 combo point killing spree. This is never really worth it with Keep It Rolling. You should always let your killing spree go all the way unless you're going to lose Adrenaline Rush. Yeah, unless you're going to lose Adrenaline Rush, you should always like let it go to the max because it's good for letting your energy regen and making sure, especially in big pulls, that phase is being applied to all the targets. So those are kind of like the main points I would say for Outlaw right now, but the class is just in a really rough spot. But if you kind of like stick to those rules, your damage will be okay, and it should help your Adrenaline Rush uptime. I would say right now the reason why the class also feels horrible is that you pretty much need to be at about 95 to 94% Adrenaline Rush uptime to even feel like you're doing any damage, which is just kind of insane because that's basically playing the class perfectly. So yeah, I mean, those are kind of like the biggest points that I can give, and hopefully in the upcoming patches they're gonna make some changes. So I might post some videos if my group wants to actually keep pushing and maybe do some keys, but until the 0.5 patches, I'm probably not going to be doing too much content because our class just really can't push keys right now outside of the meta comp or the FizzDam comp. So yeah, hopefully we'll get buffs soon, and the moment we get buffs, I will be posting a lot of content to try and push for title again. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed my my rant, and please buff Outlaw Rogue.